a bombshell of nuclear proportions just hit the love and hip-hop cosmos. One that puts admirers in a state of stunned silence. Social media is in a complete collapse, and the business is buzzing. Following the years of highs and lows, proposals and splits that characterize drama on reality TV. According to reports, Jim Jones left Chrissy Lampkin and walked directly into Brooke Bailey's arms. Yes, you heard correctly. The man who centered his entire reality TV plot around his engagement to Chrissy has now revealed a surprising turn of events. Fans who believed that Jim and Chrissy were finally settling into a stable partnership are suddenly confronted with a startling reality. With her fiery attitude and memorable tenure on Basketball Wives, Brooke Bailey is at the heart of the end of the Jim and Chrissy era. The rumors began subtly, but the plot changed abruptly as pictures, purported messages, and insider information came to light. Was Jim always planning to leave? Did Chrissy anticipate this betrayal? Or did Jim leave a relationship that many people thought was unshakable because of Brooke Bailey? This isn't simply another hip-hop and love narrative. The culture is being torn apart by this betrayal, which has been developing for decades. Chrissy Lampkin's departure for Brooke Bailey has had a seismic impact on society, making it difficult to comprehend why Jim Jones left. We must go back in time and examine the decades of events that led to this shocking event. Don't get me wrong, this wasn't a straightforward split. This was the demise of a plot that had become legendary on reality TV. Let's begin with Chrissy and Jim. One of the longest-running stories in the history of reality TV and hip-hop has been their romance. Fans have followed Chrissy's ups and downs like a soap opera since the early 2000s, when she was originally identified as the fiery rude-eye girlfriend of Dipset's own Jim Jones. Chrissy wasn't. She was Jim's backbone, stylist, and anchor in addition to being his partner. Additionally, their relationship became the main focus of Love and Hip-Hop when it debuted in 2011. Recall that Chrissy was the one who changed the course of events by proposing to Jim, a moment that made waves in the entertainment industry and surprised fans. It was empowering for many. Others found it disorganized. However, one thing was for sure. The rules of reality TV love had just been rewritten by Chrissy and Jim. However, years of stress lay beneath the glitz and the offers. Fans witnessed everything. Jim was accused of not being ready to settle down. They fought about marriage all the time, and Chrissy seemed to desire more commitment than he was prepared to give. A number of seasons, spin-offs, and Will They or Won't They cliffers were all part of their plot. It grew beyond a romantic partnership. It was an obsession in the culture. In the last few years, it was getting harder to ignore the fractures. Jim and Chrissy continued to show up together. Insiders whispered, both on and off screen, that their romance had stalled. According to some, Chrissy was fed up with waiting for marriage to truly happen. Others asserted that Jim was unable to totally commit because he still had a foot in the industry and one foot in the streets. Brooke Bailey comes in. Basketball Wives viewers are familiar with Brooke. Brooke brought her own brand of drama to VH1, being fierce, vocal, and unavoidable. She was well known for her self-assurance and tough demeanor, and she didn't hesitate to express her opinions or argue with co-stars on screen. Off-screen, she established herself as a successful entrepreneur and model who knew how to maintain her reputation. Thus, it was like two reality TV worlds merging in the most unexpected way when rumors started to circulate about Brooke Bailey's name being connected to Jim Jones. There are rumors that Jim and Brooke were seen at the same occasions, a cordial discussion that appeared to drag on for too long. Fans initially dismissed it as a coincidence. Both move in the same VH1 circles. After all, they are both familiar with the producers. They've both played the reality game before. Then came the purported receipts. Pictures of Jim and Brooke apparently having a private meal together. Screenshots of late-night direct messages that were making the rounds on gossip blogs. And insiders who said Chrissy was upset behind the scenes because she was taken aback by how close Jim and Brooke had allegedly gotten. The cultural impact was immediate. Chrissy and Jim were regarded as one of the original Love and Hip-Hop, the blueprint couples for a long time. It wasn't simply messy to watch Jim reportedly leave that legacy and into the clutches of another VH1 star. Fans weren't prepared for such a level of treachery. Remember that this isn't the first instance. Throughout their history, Chrissy and Jim's relationship has been hampered by outside forces. Jim has been the subject of side relationships and adultery rumors. Chrissy never wavered in her resolve, battled to keep their relationship intact. However, leaving her for Brooke Bailey in a public, messy, and live-streamed manner with people watching felt like the ultimate deception. Because of what Chrissy stood for, the betrayal was more profound. She was more than just Jim's companion. She was the one who worked beside him, made sacrifices for him, and declined her own chances to be by his side. Fans recall Chrissy's arguments with her co-stars, where she vigorously defended Jim's name even though he didn't always support hers. She was the epitome of loyalty, which now appears to have been broken. Brooke Bailey, meanwhile, has embraced the limelight. She has a reputation for never giving up and isn't the kind to avoid conflict. While some fans contend that Jim was the one pursuing her, others think she knew precisely what she was getting into, observing a burning energy in Brooke that Chrissy's forbearance had run its course. And that's the reason this betrayal is so shocking. It goes beyond romanticism. Legacy is at issue. Regarding to ladies who stand for radically opposite Chrissy, the loyal ride-or-die who gave Jim and Brooke decades of her time. The independent, fearless reality personality who loves to make a big impression. Now that Jim is said to have chosen Brooke, the story has taken a completely different turn. It appears that the man who previously appeared unable to totally commit to Chrissy has made the decision to leave her for someone else. And it's betraying you. Because love in the reality TV industry is public rather than private, the culture will not readily forgive or forget. Additionally, Jim's revelation has created the biggest scandal in hip-hop history out of one of the genre's longest-standing relationships. The internet went into overdrive when it was revealed that Jim Jones had supposedly dumped Chrissy Lampkin for Brooke Bailey. Fans who had spent more than 10 years following Jim and Chrissy's turbulent relationship were unable to comprehend what they were witnessing. He had left, but that wasn't all. He left her for this person. Conflict and forgiveness have always been a part of Chrissy and Jim's love story. This type of poisonous fairy tale is what reality TV is all about. This time, however, was different, according to insiders. It was more than just a brawl. There was more to this cooling-off time than that. The last dot was this one. Sources close to the couple claim that the conflict had been building for months. According to reports, Chrissy confronted Jim about his wandering eye and brought up his increasing intimacy with Brooke Bailey. According to one insider, Chrissy discovered messages that were far too kind. Jim dismissed her when she brought it up. It's business, he allegedly informed her. Chrissy didn't believe the statement that she's just a friend. As the altercation intensified, it became one of the most explosive encounters the couple had ever had. Chrissy said, "I built this with you, and you think you can walk away for some basketball wife." According to a source, Jim, in his trademark coolness, didn't yell back, but his silence spoke more than words could. Then the shocking moment arrived. Jim and Brooke Bailey were reportedly seen exiting a posh KLA restaurant. Not together, not informally, just the two of you, them. Within hours, the images appeared on blogs after paparazzi spotted them getting into a black SUV together. The captions were harsh. Brooke in the passenger seat, Chrissy at home. The spark was that social media took off. Jim was dragged by fans for treating Chrissy disrespectfully, and the rumors escalated into yells. Brooke Bailey was the new leading woman after Jim Jones had moved on. This is when the plot takes its first unexpected turn. Though, online, screenshots started to circulate. ALLEGEDLY, displaying DMs between Brooke and Jim dating back several months. In one discussion, Brooke seemed to write, "You deserve happiness. Don't let loyalty keep you trapped." Jim replied, "You understand me better than anyone, whether real or fake," and included a heart emoji. The comments quickly gained popularity and were taken seriously by followers. It wasn't only concerning Jim's departure from Chrissy. Brooke seems to have been urging him to let go of the woman who had supported him for decades, in a whispered voice. Twitter was cruel. Is Brooke really telling Jim not to remain faithful to Chrissy out here? No. That's crazy. Chrissy should have been married, not betrayed. Jim is the largest clown in the history of hip-hop. Brooke has always been untidy. However, she is now formally the antagonist. As well as Chrissy, her response was devastating. She didn't go live. She did not return the clap. Rather, she shared a mysterious Instagram story with a dark screen and the words, "Sometimes silence says more than words ever could." Supporters poured into the comments, pleading for her to break up with Jim permanently. Others tagged her with emojis of a broken heart, expressing their shock at the way she had been treated. However, insiders said Chrissy was upset behind the scenes. According to a friend's leak, Chrissy urged Jim not to return after throwing his belongings out of their Miami house. Brooke Bailey appeared unconcerned, but another said that Chrissy was thinking of leaving the Love and Hip Hop franchise completely, stating, "They turned my life into a spectacle, and now I'm the fool again." She shared a glitzy image of herself online with a caption, "Unapologetic." No names, no context. However, everyone was precisely aware of the person she was referring to. Jim leaving Chrissy isn't the only surprise in this story. It's because he acted so carelessly and in public, and with a person Chrissy thought was related to the VH1 family. It was more than simply betrayal to Chrissy. It was humiliation. Insiders say the producers at VH1 and WET TV, two networks that have documented Jim and Chrissy's relationship, are battling to document the repercussions, which is making matters even more complicated. According to rumors, cameras are already rolling in an attempt to get exclusive footage of Jim's new relationship, with Brooke and Chrissy's response. If this is accurate, Chrissy's most agonizing experience may soon be the next big thing on reality TV. Bonanza. The cultural repercussions have been enormous. This betrayal seems personal to followers who saw Chrissy as the model of loyalty, the lady who stood by her lover no matter what. Others see it as proof of what they've always thought Jim Jones would never really do. The most significant query is, how long has this been going on? Did Jim never marry Chrissy because of Brooke? Did he hold another choice in his back pocket while he kept her on board for more than 10 years? The story has been turned on its head by the twist. Chrissy is more than just a disdained woman. She is a representation of what happens on the largest stage possible when loyalty and treachery collide. And in a single headline, Jim has transformed from a reality TV veteran to a villain. However, there are rumors that Chrissy isn't staying. So if you think the narrative ends here, think again. She's holding receipts that might make Jim and Brooke regret everything they've done. If fans believe that the turmoil involving Brooke Bailey, Chrissy Lampkin, and Jim Jones couldn't get any worse, they've taken it. They were shown to be mistaken the next week. When Chrissy finally broke her silence, it was in typical Chrissy form, and what had begun as rumors and paparazzi photos became a full-scale cultural earthquake. She didn't mince words. It started with a shocking Instagram live. There was Chrissy on camera. Her words cut like a dagger through the talk, yet her expression remained serene. Although she didn't specifically name Brooke or Jim, her remarks made it clear. When you start from nothing and create a man's reputation, business, and house, and he chooses to leave for someone who just arrived at the finish line, that speaks louder for him than for me. The comments were exploding with fans. Within minutes, the live had over 100,000 viewers. Bloggers were recording every second, and Twitter Spaces were developing to analyze every word as they bombarded her livestream with messages like "say his name, Chrissy, and we know who you're talking about," along with fire emojis and shattered hearts. Chrissy wasn't finished, though. She gave one of the most terrifying teases to close out her live stream. Receipts can be humorous. You don't always have to show them. People's falsehoods can sometimes be so damaging that you just let them burn themselves. The internet was enraged by just single line. Was there evidence of Jim and Brooke's relationship that Chrissy had? Images, screenshots, or something more complex? Everybody was waiting. Then, as though on cue, the first bombshell revelation came when a gossip website purportedly revealed hotel receipts proving Jim Jones had used a false identity to reserve a lavish suite in Los Angeles. However, Brooke Bailey +1 was listed on the reservation. The fact that the receipts were authentic demonstrated that Jim and Brooke were more than simply a passing acquaintance. They were traveling, lodging, and living together as though they were already a couple. Twitter blew out. Jim didn't simply abandon Chrissy. Overnight, he elevated Brooke to the position of wife. I pray for Jim if Chrissy has receipts because Brooke is already being exposed. Receipts from hotels. No, this is no longer conjecture. This is treachery. Brooke Bailey, meanwhile, wasn't keeping silent. She responded by posting a beautiful picture of herself in a silk dress along with the words, "Don't hate me for choosing happiness. Hate yourself for staying unhappy." It was the perfect amount of fuel for the fire. She was immediately dragged by fans. Home destroying, not happiness. This is what Chrissy gets for giving her life to Jim. However, Brooke also had some writers who defended her. Chrissy had been waiting more than 10 years for a ring. Brooke's desire for improvement does not make her a villain. As the fan battle continued, industry experts began to comment. When Yandy Smith shared a inscrutable tweet, "Failure to learn causes history to repeat itself," on Love and Hip Hop, fans immediately connected it to Chrissy's memories of their notorious altercations. Another graduate of Love and Hip Hop, Cambella, left a comment beneath a Shadroom post. "Don't miss karma." Just that remark raised many likes. Messy, messy, messy. The industry wasn't just watching, it was picking sides. Safri then wrote, and those sides were loud. The second startling revelation, however, followed. There were purportedly leaked text exchanges between Jim and Brooke that had nothing to do with romance or love. They have to do with money. Jim seemed to write in the texts, "I'm going to put money into your queue. We're gone. Make sure you're straight. Don't worry about the texts, turn the story around. Chrissy, she'll be fine." Brooke allegedly responded, "That's why I rock with you. You see me?" It was more than just love. It had to do with business. In addition to leaving Chrissy for Brooke, fans conjectured that Jim was investing time, money, and effort into creating Brooke's enterprise in the same manner that Chrissy had created his. Chrissy's fans went crazy after learning that. After she constructs Jim for 15 years, he gives Brooke the foundation. Horrible for others, it was karma. Chrissy's time was spent arguing with everyone over Jim. She is now the one who is left behind. Jim was uncannily silent the entire time. No posts, no lives, no interviews. The rumors were only stoked by his silence. Was he concealing himself? Was he at fault? Or was he holding out on sharing his side of the story until the right time? The cliffhanger didn't stop there, though. A blog hinted at a third leak of video late one evening. Their caption alone sent fans into a tailspin even if they didn't reveal it. Everything will change when you see Jim and Brooke on camera. Are you not prepared? Tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Social media was in disarray in a matter of minutes. Hashtag Chrissy and other hashtags deserve better. Hashtag Jim speaks next and hashtag Brooke exposed became a global trend. The hours were counted down by fans. Industry insiders murmured that if the film was authentic, it might ruin Jim's legacy forever, and gossip channels planned emergency live streams. Audio samples, images, and hotel reservations can always be rejected because receipts are one thing. However, video is truthful. Furthermore, Jim Jones wouldn't simply be abandoning Chrissy Lampkin if that tape were to surface. He would be interring himself, Brooke, and her Renee. By the time the purported hotel receipts and leaked texts appeared online, the controversy had become unavoidable. A tangled love triangle was no longer the only aspect of the Jim Jones, Chrissy Lampkin, Brooke Bailey scandal. A full-blown cultural catastrophe has resulted. Reactions flooded social media feeds. Debates among fans burned like wildfire. Celebrities who had previously been silent were now taking sides. The story was told by the hashtags on Twitter. Hashtag Chrissy was worthy of better. The hashtags on Twitter. Hashtag Chrissy was worthy of better. At the same time, the hashtags hashtag Jim Done Dirty and hashtag BROOKY disorganized became popular. Fans who had spent more than 10 years watching Jim and Chrissy were not just let down, they were incensed. Chrissy wasted 15 years waiting for marriage and Jim gave the ring to somebody else. Brooke ain't the villain. Jim is, said one of the widely shared tweets. Another admirer responded, Chrissy had her opportunity. Let Jim survive if he is content with Brooke. Editors on TikTok juxtaposed the paparazzi images of Jim and Brooke leaving that LA restaurant with Chrissy's heartfelt proposal from years ago. From yes to this, the captions were ruthless. Brooke simply stepped into the finished result, while others stitched Chrissy's recent Instagram live with commentary, as if she had created him from the ground up. Within hours, the changes received millions of views, making Chrissy a symbol of pain and loyalty once more. However, what truly exposed this narrative were the celebrity responses. This story was blown wide open. On Instagram, Yandi Smith, who memorably argued with Chrissy on Love and Hip Hop, shared a mysterious statement. People always reveal themselves to you. The first time, believe them. Yandi was pulled by fans right away, who claimed that she had made fun of Chrissy when she was upset. More than 10,000 people liked Camilla Vanderhei's comment under the Shadroom post. Karma works in silence, then screams when it's ready. Fans debated whether Camilla was disparaging Chrissy, Brooke, or both. 50 Cent, who never fails to cause trouble, reposted the while industry supporters rallied around her. The paparazzi photo of Jim and Brooke with the caption, "This a Jimmy Walden Power Book Home Wreckers, coming soon," garnered nearly 1 million views overnight, turning the scandal into meme fodder. Emily B posted a heart emoji under her Instagram story, and Tahiri Jose, another veteran of Love and Hip Hop, wrote, "Women like Chrissy don't lose. They level up." That comment alone fueled speculation that Chrissy was already planning her own connections. His comments were bombarded by fans. The comparisons between Pap and Jim became harsh, portraying Papoose as the obedient king and Jim as the disloyal criminal. Pap would never do Remy like this. Take notes, Jimmy. The consequences for the industry didn't end at social criticism. There were rumors that VH1 producers were rushing. Executives allegedly held urgent meetings to discuss how to spin this controversy for hip-hop and romance. They see the ratings. According to one source, they had been praying for a storyline involving Chrissy, Jim, and Brooke. However, Chrissy is refusing to shoot, since if it's true, she feels embarrassed. The H1 might have to choose between losing one of its most recognizable stars and going gold in the ratings. Brooke Bailey, meanwhile, leaned into the confusion. Smiling, she went live while drinking wine while thousands of people pleaded with her to reveal. "Unbothered," was all she said. While ending a 15-year relationship, fans immediately dragged her without bothering her. Connection, others applauded her audacity and referred to her as the villain reality TV desperately needs. Jim's silence became more audible. Fans became more certain that the rumors were real the longer he remained silent. As the internet burned, memes likened him to a man holed up in a bunker. Blog conjectured that he was awaiting the ideal bag, implying that might speak up in a sponsored interview or on a reality TV show. Then there were conspiracies by fans, using the well-timed disclosures and Brooke's apparent indifference as evidence. Others said the entire controversy was staged for ratings. Others insisted it was genuine, citing the hotel invoices and Chrissy's unfiltered passion. According to a third faction, if a video actually dropped, it would definitively demonstrate that this was not a show with a script. In 4000, this deception was discovered. There was no denying the cultural divide. Chrissy was a symbol of tradition and loyalty for older supporters, a woman who stood by her relationship no matter what. Brooke was a symbol of independence and fresh vitality for younger fans. Regardless of the criticism, a lady was not scared to assert her rights. Jim, who was caught between them, ended up being the antagonist in both stories. However, the countdown was no longer limited to reactions. It was for the blog-teased video release.